morning, happy Monday. It is a very tiring morning today, and it has nothing to do with the Super Bowl. I actually tried to go to bed before the Super Bowl ended. In fact, when I left the living room last night, it looked like the Falcons had sealed the deal. So no one was more surprised than me when it turned out to be the Patriots. But yesterday, Casey got sick yesterday at about 6 p.m. and like literally just before the game was due to start, when we were at relative's house, we had to leave there, rush home. I sat in the back seat holding a bag under his face the whole time we were driving home, trying to get home before he threw up in my car. Like, please don't throw up in my car. Please don't throw up in my car. He didn't, thank goodness. But I was up very late last night. He finally fell asleep about 11:30, which by our standards is pretty late. I'm in bed by usually 9:30 on a school night, just because I wake up so bleeping early. So I'm really tired. I've already had a 5-hour energy, and I can tell I'm tired because my Apple Watch, my heart alert keeps going off. My heart is racing this morning because I'm tired, because I actually didn't get a very good night's sleep Saturday into Sunday morning either. I only got 3 hours sleep that night for assorted reasons. So I am very tired today. I am very, very tired today. Although I think today is going to be a relatively easy day. Not easy, but today is the first day of the second semester. There were 2 card markings down, 2 to go. And last week, as you guys are aware, we had some behavioral issues, and we had some behavioral issues even the week prior, because I had to stop teaching one day and have a circle and do restorative practices and let everyone talk out their grievances and address one another. And that was a really good thing we did. And then last week the behavior was better until the subbing day. Then it kind of all fell apart again. So today what I want to do when I get to school is we are having basically what I call a reset. And I really believe in having resets. I think all teachers should do these with their class. I think you should probably do this at least 2 to 3 times a year. In September, we spend weeks teaching behavior routines, daily 5 routines, writer's workshop routines. This is how our classroom runs. This is how we do things. And we really pound that hard in September and October. But then by the time November rolls around, we kind of get into the groove. And so we kind of don't remind them constantly anymore. This is what we do for daily 5. This is how we read with a partner. This is how we read to ourselves. This is how we take out the computers from the cart. This is how we return. We kind of let that go because we get into the groove. But it's now February, and I feel like my groove is slipping a little. So today we are going to have a day where my mini lessons today, instead of having actual teaching focus lessons today, my focus lessons are going to be going back over the daily 5 eye charts. This is how we read with a partner. Elbow to elbow, knee to knee, book in the middle, I'll read to you, you read to me. This is how we work on words. This is how we take care of the materials in work on words. So that's what I'm going to be doing a lot of this morning, is going over those daily 5 routines and procedures and reinforcing this is how the classroom sounds at this time. This is what the classroom should look like. If a stranger walked into the room, what should they see happening during these time periods? So that's what's going to be going on today. And yes, I'm sorry. I am tired. My brain just went blank. So I'm going to stop right here though, because I do need to throw some things together for my lunch today. Luckily, I bought a bunch of lean cuisines because I'm not packing anything. And I will see you guys at school. Finally in my classroom. And the room's nice and tidy. I only spent a couple of minutes tidying it up, which was good because on my way to work today, there was a huge car fire on the side of the freeway and it took me extra long to get here today. But it's Monday, and as I said earlier at home, today is definitely going to be a back to basics day. So I don't have any like really complicated lesson plans or anything that I needed to do this morning. We are reviewing Daily 5. We're going to go over all the anchor charts that are on the windows and review our cafe menu and talk about all the strategies again. Speaking of strategies, I need to get this one up there. I ran out of tape, but I couldn't stick it up there. Got tape. So that is what's on the agenda for today, and I want to try to meet with a lot of kids today for one-on-one conferencing. I was going to meet with them last week for one-on-one, and I did get to meet some of them throughout the week, but last week was just such a crazy, complicated week that I kind of feel like all of my lesson plans for last week, like 3 days worth of last week's lesson plans, got shoved into this week just because of the 2 days of NWEA testing, the 1 day I wasn't here for Math Institute, mobile dentist, half the class leaving for WIDA testing. Last week was a very complicated week, and I'm hoping that was even part of the reason why the behavior broke down last week, and so that now this week, as far as I can tell from my planner and from the school calendar, there should be like no interruptions this week. This should just be honestly a very normal routine week, which is good because that is the focus of today. Today is all about our routines and getting back into them and reviewing the classroom norms. So we do have a math test today, which I need to get these stapled. And yes, one thing I wanted to talk about real quick in here was minimalism. And as you guys know, I've kind of embraced it. I will say my house actually right now could use a fresh decluttering. One of the things with Project Me is that I find you have to be diligent because it's, especially if you're a minimalist, but you live with children and a husband who are not necessarily minimalist themselves, it's a job to keep up on it. But I do find that when my house is clutter-free, I am at my most relaxed. I really am. And I'm finding even the same is true in here. One of the reasons I adopted Daily 5 years ago, long before my school district did, was because honestly, Daily 5 is the minimalist way of teaching reading. And now don't think that I'm saying that, oh, well, Daily 5 is a lazy way to teach. It's not by any stretch of the words. But before I was doing Daily 5, I was doing guided reading, and which meant I had all these different learning centers all over the room, and I was forever trying to make copies of papers to put into the centers. I was forever trying to rotate the items in the centers, and it was exhausting. And then because the centers were kind of complicated, the children couldn't do the work independently. So as I would be at my guided reading table, instead of actually really focusing hard on the children at my table, I was forever going, knock that off. Hey, stop that. Put that down. That's not, I was forever disciplining the centers and not really focusing on the children at my group. So something had to give because, I did Daily 5, or not Daily 5, I did, traditional guided reading with reading centers for, like 5 years, and I hated it. It never got easier. It never got better. The discipline problems never seemed to go away, no matter how much I would teach the norms. There was too much stuff out and about in the room, and it just really didn't work. So that was the whole reason I turned to Daily 5, because with Daily 5, all of that stuff went away. All of the copies and the dittos and the worksheets you were running off to have at your centers for, accountability, that all went away. Suddenly, instead of having all these tables with tubs and materials moving about the room, you just had children with books. And then you have like 6 baskets that are your work on words, and those baskets don't get rotated. They don't change. The learning tools in those baskets in September are the same learning basket tools you're going to have clear through to the end in June. And so this way the baskets aren't toys. They're not novelties. It's not something constantly, ooh, what's that? I want to play with that. The baskets are just learning tools, and the kids play with them. Or no, they're not even really playing with them. They're using them to create their spelling words. They're using them to manipulate the letter sounds and find spelling patterns and do their word sorts. So that was what really drew me to Daily 5. And I didn't realize it at the time that I was looking for a more minimalistic way to teach. But at the end of the day, that really is what Daily 5 is. The children have their books that they read independently. I'm meeting with a couple of kids at a time or one child at a time. And that's a rotation. Then the choice rotation is read with a partner, listen to reading on the laptop, or word work. And then like our last rotation is writer's workshop. And it is a very simple, minimalist format for getting your literacy blocks in. And I love it. I really do love it. So, and I had recently actually been making my Daily 5 a little bit more complicated, and I was changing things out. Now, I'm still going to keep my 1 day a week of close reading, which I'm still learning more and more strategies for close reading, because I really do like how it is a very skills-based, question-oriented lesson where you're inferring, making predictions, you're connecting to the text. It's a lot of those skills and strategies that are part of the Daily 5 lessons, but you're as a whole group, you're really putting all those skills and strategies to work, and you're modeling it, and all the children are seeing that being modeled before them. So I like having a 1 day a week of close reading. But my other days, I really am going to go back to just, this is Daily 5. This is read to self while I'm conferring with students. This is word work or listening to reading while I'm conferring with students. This is the writer's block while I am conferring with students. So if you're looking for a minimal way to teach reading, probably the easiest format you will ever find that in is in Daily 5. And as I said on my last video, I was afraid that this year's students weren't making the gains using Daily 5 in comparison to last year's students. But after seeing the results of my NWEA tests last week, that fear has been put to rest. These kids actually made huge jumps. In fact, this class actually made bigger jumps than last year's class because this class came in at a lower base. So they are moving. They're moving really quick. So Daily 5 is working, which is good. And I was really relieved to hear that because, as I said, I was about to revamp everything. But at the end of the day, I do love the format of Daily 5. I don't really want to revamp everything unless it was absolutely necessary. So with that though, I'm going to stop here because I need to staple my math test and get a few things ready because I did get in late because of the traffic. So I will talk to you guys later.